Business World Live here on One News. I'm Jes Delos Santos. Let's take a look at how the local bourse closed today, Friday. All right, let's get... Okay, again, let's have a look first at how our local bourse at least performed for the day. But before that, we did see last-minute dumping of local stocks here, sending the PSEi into the bottom of the pit in Asia here. But let's have a check first at our regional gauges here. It's a bloodbath with Asian stocks retreating as China's tech stocks were pulled down by the country's antitrust crackdown with wide-ranging restrictions here. Looking at Shanghai, that's down 0.8%. The Shenzhen likewise also lower here, 0.3%. Other Asian indices following suit here. Japan, the Nikkei and the Topics here, both in the red. The Nikkei even down by 0.8%. Hong Kong likewise hangs and still, as you can see here, lower by 1.8%, as well as the Kospi here that is lower by 0.8%, and even Aussie stocks here on the downside, down 0.8%. But the PSEi declining the most here in Asia, tumbling by 1.8% to 6,370.87, putting a stop to a two-day rally of more than 2.1%. Investors staying on the sidelines, according to BDO's chief market strategist, Jonathan Ravelas, that's ahead of inflation and GDP data. The central bank has said that it expects inflation to park somewhere within the 4.2 to 5% band. This elevated inflation, says Ravelas, could dampen consumer spending. He adds it will be difficult to sustain rallies because even if there are improvements, cases remain high, which might mean a longer road to recovery. Nomura, in fact, already downgraded its growth forecast for the Philippines from the previous 6.8% outlook. They're slashing that to 5.5% on the back of the recent outbreak of cases and lockdown measures. MECQ, of course, was extended until May 14, with more room for businesses like personal care services and dining restos to operate at limited capacity. Ravelas warns that local shares may plummet to 5,700 should it fail to hold on to the current 6,300 level. Now, looking at individual stocks here, 22 of the 30-member index fell, with JG Summit and SM Prime declining by at least 4% here. JG Summit is down 4% to 52 pesos and 75 centavos a share. SM Prime likewise also dropping here by 3.8%, now at 34 pesos and 45 centavos a share. Only 6 stocks ended the day on the upside, with 2 retailers climbing the most here. Pure Gold edging higher by 0.8% to 37 pesos and 30 centavos a share, while Robinsons Retail is a day's best performer. That is up close to 1.2%. That's after net income for the first quarter grew by 2.4% to 945 million pesos. That's despite sales tumbling by 11.1% to 35.6 billion pesos. Same-store sales growth likewise dismayed. That's down by 16.1%. Since last year, panic buying pushed SSSG to record highs, but that was offset by a 7-fold growth in e-commerce sales and a 30% decline in operating expenses. RRHI ending the week here at 52 pesos and 50 centavos a share. Now off to another Gokong Wave firm here, URC, with net income rising by double digits here at 51% to 3.2 billion pesos. That's pushed by growth in operating income, lower foreign exchange losses, and controlled financing costs, as well as gains from the Create Law. Operating income higher as well to 4.3 billion pesos, growing faster even than the top line. Those numbers, though, not enough to pull URC out of the bloodshed here. It joins the rest of the main index in the sell-off here. It's down by close to 0.1% to 136 pesos and 90 centavos a share. Here are other headlines we're keeping our eyes on. If you were unable to register online for the National ID program, well, you're not alone. Technical glitches marred the first day of online registration for the Philippine ID system, or PhilSys. In an advisory, the PSA said their technical team is currently figuring out the source of the program and will provide updates as soon as they are available. For now, the agency apologized for the inconvenience it caused to those who wanted to register today. Recall that pre-registration for PhilSys started October 2020 for low-income families. PSA aims to register 70 million Filipinos to the system by the end of the year. Marikina Representative Stella Quimbo has filed a bill which seeks to authorize the president to purchase pork from producers during emergencies. Quimbo explained that only the government has the ability to buy high from producers and sell low to consumers during times of crisis. With the government acting as middleman, the lawmaker said this will ensure both hog raisers and consumers are supported through fair prices of pork. House Bill 9256, or the Affordable Pork Act of 2021, also requires imports to be deemed approved if an agency does not act on it within the prescribed time, while greater penalties would also be imposed for pork smugglers and profiteers. Some LGUs continue to charge taxes and fees on goods being transported to or through their jurisdiction, and the Anti-Red Tape Authority wants to put a stop to that. To talk about that and more, we have ARTA Director-General Jeremiah Belgica. Good afternoon, Director General Belgica.
Good afternoon, Jes, to all of our viewers today. I hope everybody's safe.
All right, sir. First off, how exactly does this work, and at the same time, what's the rationale behind the move to actually put a stop to LGUs imposing fees and charges for the transport, at least, of goods that are going to at least pass through their area?
Well, Jess, the basis for this is very obvious, Jess, because with the present system that is really weighing down on the industry, that truckers or the logistics sector is being made to register to each and every LGUs that a certain truck or truck drivers would pass through. So, meaning if there are 20 LGUs that they would be passing through from the port of origin to the warehouse that they're going to, they are being required, or some LGUs are actually requiring them to register, to get stickers, and to add, to do payments for just to get these stickers. The net effect of this, Jess, is basically it would raise the cost of doing business, and eventually it really weighs down on the consumer, who would be made to pay for all of the costs that are added because of this unnecessary regulation.
Currently, sir, how rampant is this still? How many LGUs at least are still charging fees here? And how do you plan to carry out this program?
Well, Jess, according to the DILG, which is part of this joint memorandum circular that ARTA signed just recently, DILG and the Department of Finance, there are about more or less about 30 LGUs who are still imposing pass-through fees or entry fees, or fees, similar fees. But the real idea is if you pass through their local government, or you enter their local government because you're carrying with you some goods or materials, then you still need to register to them independently. So there are about 30 or more LGUs who are still doing this. Some of them, they have their own ordinances that they enacted. So through this joint memorandum circular, not only did the DILG declare this to be highly irregular, but also the Department of Finance, who also has the authority to regulate the treasurer's offices within each LGUs. So ARTA, on the other hand, is the main agency that oversees the regulatory soundness or the regulatory management of the entire country.
Mm-hmm. But what are the penalties here that you are looking at?
Well, the penalties are valid just since there are three if agencies who's actually locking arms to implement this. First, for the ALG, of course, it could actually be a violation of the rules and regulations on Republic Act 6713. Also, it could also be a violation of Section 133 of the Local Government Code. As for ARTA, it could also be a violation of Republic Act 11032 or the Ease of Doing Business Act. But this does not bar any other administrative or criminal sanctions that would be meted on a case-to-case basis. Because just this overregulation more often than not results to fixing or giving grease money to enforcers along the way. So DILG has made it clear together with ARTA that we would be ensuring that we would be uh, giving sanctions or filing cases against those who would be violating.
Understand as well that the plan is to come up with a unified QR code for that. How's that coming along?
Well, the unified QR code actually would go beyond this initial step that we already did, which is to prohibit all pass-through fees for all LGUs. The unified QR code would also now involve other national government agencies that is part of the entire logistics, system or process, meaning the Philippine Ports Authority, the PEZA, the and also the LTFRB. So the entire idea is to just have one pass for everyone that would be recognized by all of these agencies, including the LGUs. So the technology itself, Jess, is currently being developed, but the JMC is already in the offing. We're just circulating the final joint memorandum circular that would firm up or make certain already the policy of a joint logistics pass.
But when is your target rollout of the QR code?
Well, we want to roll it out just within this month, coming month of May. So
All right.
we're expecting the first JMC that we just rolled out is actually is the first part of the entire plan.
Okay, this time around also let's move over to a different topic here. ARTA is also looking into the extension of validity of government permits and licenses. What exact licenses and permits will this cover, and how much of an extension are you looking at?
Well, this is part of our ongoing recommendations for all government agencies. One of our function is to provide recommendations and rational ways on how to make things faster for government agencies. And one of the recommendations that we are giving government agencies are first is for them to extend automatically those permits or licenses that would be expiring during the pandemic, or they could simply renew it automatically upon payment or use of digital platforms and payment. Another thing, Jess, is that we are also recommending to incentivize the use of their online platforms of these government agencies, because we already have a number or most government agencies are already showcasing their online facilities. Now, in order to just incentivize this, we're also encouraging them to waive all fees for initial registrations if the citizen would be using their online facility to file their initial application. So there are some agencies who have adopted this. I could remember the Land Transportation Office did adopt this early, mid last year. And some LGUs are also adopting this and incentivizing their business sector. But we've also submitted this recommendation also to the Office of the President, because this is also a good consideration to be considered for a issuance of an executive order.
Mhm. But might this isn't this going to at least result in some revenue loss here for government agencies and even local governments?
Not really, Jess, because we're seeing first, if on the renewals that we're saying, the automatic renewals and extension, Jess, would actually be upon the digital payments of this agent of the transacting public. What we're trying to eliminate here is the necessity of going to the office and filing other documents other than the payments. But second, for those initial applications, for the first time applications, and which would entail the waiver of fees, it will actually not well, maybe initially it would affect, some losses, or maybe minuses, but eventually it would encourage more businesses to open. And this would of course, we could also anticipate, tax payments or taxes coming in the long run.
Okay, at the same time, ARTA is directing LGUs to put up electronic one-stop shops here.
Yeah.
That's until
Yeah.
June 17. How has compliance been so far?
Well, we have right now, we have around almost 500 LGUs who have already automated their business permitting licensing system. ARTA, together with the Department of Information and Communications Technology, have been hard at work together with DILG to really roll out this software that the government has already developed. We call it the IBPLS, or the Integrated Business Permitting and Licensing System. This is actually for free already, just that even third or fourth class municipalities could use. Even highly urbanized cities like Mandawi is actually using it. So we have recently spoken to about 500 LGUs and reminded them that the law, or the new ARTA law, the Republic Act 11032, expects each LGU to already have an automated business permitting licensing system by June 17, 2021, which is 3 years from the enactment of the new ARTA law in 2018.
All right, thank you very much for those updates, ARTA Director General Jeremiah Belgica. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jess.
And those are the biggest stories this trading day, April 30, 2021. Catch Business World live again Monday next week at 9:30 a.m. for the market open and 3:15 p.m. for the market close. I am Jes Delos Santos. We are One News. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe. Philippines, have a great weekend.